South Africa didn't do very much, as you can see and if you watch the game and you look at that graphic, South Africa did very little with the possession that they had. They really didn't have much of a threat. Canada more so with less of the ball, a bit more quality in their side, particularly when Davies came on at the end. That gave them a little injection of pace. Two poor sides, I think most people would agree. But Canada into the last 16, great for them. Great for Jesse Marsch, who I think is a very good coach, if I'm being honest with you. And I think there's a part of him looking at the US men's national team and looking at Mauricio Pochettino and thinking, that should have been me.
Yeah.
And so he's got a point to prove with less to work with. And so that's a big achievement for them. Getting to the knockouts, getting to the last 16, they deserved it. But with the quality or lack of in their side, I think that might be the ceiling for them.
Yeah, absolute big scenes there in Toronto as Canada definitely have won this one. And Craig pointed out the fact that Canada have made it this far without Alphonso Davies. He's getting his first minutes of the World Cup. Pretty impressive, Frank.
It is impressive, you know. I remember that 4 years ago, I put them like favorites of the World Cup, so maybe I was in advance.
So it's all thanks to you.
Well, I don't think they're gonna achieve anything. I think it's as Craig said, that's maybe the ceiling for them. But it's great for Jesse Marsch, for the team, for the players, and for Davies. He's gonna have some time to play and have an interesting game to play in the last 16. So it's a great adventure for the Canadians, and I'm very happy for them. Sad for South Africa, because especially when it's kind of the last minute goal, it's like everything in the world is falling apart.
Don, what did you make of it? Of course, we're looking at the 11, and we know that Alphonso Davies did not start. He started on the bench, though, despite Jesse Marsch saying he was more than ready to play in the pre-match press conference. But who stood out to you?
I don't think it was a case of who stood out. I think the goal was a mood changer. And in the end, what you have to say, and you can park your analysis, because there was plenty of analysis before the goal went in, as if to say, I'm not sure what this Canadian team do. They don't dominate the ball. They're not really a counter-attacking side. Jesse Marsch's style, when he was in England, was a man-for-man type high press and energy. I didn't really see that in the game. But then you can put all that in the bin and go, well done, Canada, for getting through.
Yeah.
It's an amazing story. So sometimes, you know, you can deep dive into it and you can try and overanalyze it and microanalyze it, but who cares? If you're a Canadian now and you're through, just enjoy it. Enjoy the ride.
I'm going to somehow shoehorn Scotland into this.
Oh,
As you should, Craig.
And
We miss them.
Well, you miss the supporters. You don't miss.
That's true.
You don't miss the team.
That's true.
And I don't know if it's a compliment.
The supporters were great, and the team were not. But over the years, Scotland have had, and I'm not talking about Don and I, over the piece, Scotland have had some great players. 70s, 80s, 60s, whatever it is, players that have played on world-class stages for some of the best teams in the world, best club teams, and there has been many of them. The Dalglishes, the Souness, I mean, there's been loads, and yet Scotland, again, and always has, failed to get out of group stage. And yet here we have teams like Cape Verde, DR Congo, Canada, and I know it's changed from 32 to 48 teams, but here we have these teams and the US men's national team, which I think has been to the quarter-final of a World Cup or thereabouts. These sides overachieve and get better. Every tournament seems to get better, sometimes with less players, with less quality, but yet are able to continually, like the US, get out of groups, and now Canada have done it.
Yeah.
And yet we as sort of Western Europeans from so-called country that, you know, invented football, soccer, turn their nose up.
Well, me and
In
Steve,
these countries, it's embarrassing.
Well, me and Stevie had a good debate, turned into an argument in the end. And my point was about Scotland. There has to be a mentality shift, as if to say we're not just going to be happy getting to a World Cup because Ecuador beat Brazil. You know, Cape Verde drew against Spain. We're seeing Canada go through. Why can't Scotland do this? Because you can fall in love with a team like Canada. They might not be the best team in the world.
Yeah.
But if you're a Canadian, you can fall in love with your team because you know under Jesse Marsch, they're going to have a go. And that's all you want as a fan. You want to see a team have a go.
Haiti have gone home, and they've gone home with their head held high.
Yeah.
Because they played some really nice football for a tiny nation who hasn't played at home for years because of the problems in their country and all that goes with that. And they got beat, but boy, they left nothing on the table.
Yeah.
And teams that have gone through, like Cape Verde, like DR Congo, I'm just mentioning it, and Canada, and I suppose South Africa, but more so Canada, you know, they're not coming with that attitude. Well, we're here, and you know, let's just see if we can get a couple of points, and we're in the hotel for a month. you got to compete, you got to enjoy it, but you have to compete and you have to believe, and you got to play with a little bit of freedom.
Craig, if you want to compete, you have to keep your fighting spirit and your origins and your mentality. And I remember in '98, I'm pretty sure the first game of the World Cup when Brazil played against Scotland, and Craig, they knew that they would suffer. They knew that the spirit of the team in Scotland were warriors. And we are not in a movie, but it's kind of freedom. We go for it, and we're gonna die, on the field if we need to. That's what made Scotland, England, and so many teams different. And when you were playing Germany, that was different as well. Spain as well. Brazil, it was different matters, different technique. But that's what I don't see anymore. I see team being all the same, playing all the same football, kind of tiki-taka, not creating anything in terms of chances like we saw today with South Africa. I want to see a team who fights until death to win something. And we didn't see that with Scotland. We don't see that with many, many teams. And that's what I regret.
It's what gets the likes of Canada through, isn't
Yeah.
it? And you saw that team spirit there with Jesse Marsh and his players at the end with all the staff. And there was a couple of injured players, one in Coney who broke his leg. I think it might have been in the first game, a really nasty leg break from a pretty innocuous challenge. And yet he's there. I think he was back with the camp, and he's back on the pitch with his crutches, celebrating, but no doubt deep down, gutted that he's not out there playing in this knockout stages. But it's about that team spirit. And when you don't have the quality of a France or a Brazil or a Spain or whoever it is, then you have to have something else to get you through.
Exactly.
If you don't have the quality and you don't have the belief or the fighting spirit or the squad togetherness, then you are totally screwed because you got nothing. But what Canada have is a group of players who are good players, solid, hard-working pros with a couple of guys playing at a higher level and a team spirit that's taken them thus far, and you can't knock that.
Well, as we said, Canada into the last 16 of a World Cup for the first time in their history. But just look at who they could have next, either the Netherlands or Morocco. Don, does this mean that the round of 16 is probably the ceiling for Jesse Marsh and Canada?
Maybe, but you can't look at it like that. If you're Canada, enjoy tonight and then prep for Holland or Morocco. You can't afford. That's what I'm saying about the loser mentality with Scotland. If you're Canada, you can't go, well, we've got here, but we're going to play Holland or Morocco next and we're going to go home. You can't have that attitude. You've got to play to your strengths. And although Morocco and Canada will be a better footballing side and offer a lot more than South Africa did, Canada might have to find a way, whether it's man-to-man, whether it's going long ball and playing to your strengths, whether it's having a fight and stopping Holland from playing football. But you can't just look at that and go, well, that's us. We might think that because we're analysing what we think is going to happen and we're looking into a crystal ball, how Morocco and Holland play. But Canada have got to have the attitude of, come on, let's give this a go. We've got the crowd behind us. We've got the country behind us. We're in a World Cup. We're joint hosting a World Cup. Why can't we go one more and then see who we get? That's the attitude you've got to have.
Well, I'll give you Canada a little bit of hope here. And this, strangely enough, involves Scotland again.
Scotland, catching strays.
I'm telling you. It also involves Scotland and Haiti. And Canada are through to the round of 16. And if it's Morocco or the Netherlands, and we're doing a bracket later, isn't that exciting?
Looking
Wait and see, Frank. Wait.
Oh, yeah.
So say it is Morocco, right? Scotland gave them a game, and Scotland were poor. And Morocco fell over the line. They were behind twice against Haiti in the final game. They are not invincible, this Moroccan side.
Yeah.
And if I was Jesse Marsh, I might be hoping it's actually the Moroccans
You would be.
that go through.
You would be.
Because he would have seen, and if he didn't, he will in a video, the way they played. He doesn't want to watch the first 20 minutes of how they played against Brazil because they were very good in that first 20 minutes, half an hour, but they were really poor as the game went on against Scotland, and Haiti really gave them a game. So it's not like there's not a chance for Canada. That's certainly not the case, obviously depending on who goes through.
Frank, is that how you see it?
Yeah. Well, I'm convinced that everything is possible in football. Otherwise, you don't show up and you stay in the dressing room.
Absolutely.
And we see Cape Verde. Cape Verde, they showed that to the world that normally they should have lost like 8-0 every game.
Yeah.
But they showed the strength, they showed pride, and they showed quality. And it's why they're there. And they believe that it's possible. So Canada has to believe that either Netherlands and Morocco can be beatable, and hopefully they're gonna show up and show what they showed today against
The great thing for Canada, they can relax tonight.
Yeah.
They can relax tomorrow and watch that game unfold. So as Craig said, the team spirit, you've been to a World Cup. I've done many games with Scotland where the analysis teams will show the opposition they're in a fantastic space now where they can have a glass of red wine or whatever it might be, a meal tomorrow, sit back and kick back and watch the
Loud.
Sounds
but
good.
That sounds grand.
sit back and go, listen, one of you two have got to play us.
This is a party political broadcast for the Canadian national team. Just in case
Just
we're going
in
out.
case.
Just in case we're on Canadian TV as well tonight.
Well, let's see what you do on the